Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a story that is honestly an absolute masterclass in turning the tables. I mean, if you've ever wanted a narrative where a rich boy reincarnates and rejects the ungrateful girl who ruined his past life, well, you are definitely in for a treat today. We're going to do a dramatic analysis of a story where karma doesn't just, knock on the door. It literally kicks it entirely off the hinges.
So picture this. Imagine the horrific context of our protagonist's Choi's past life. Honestly, what would you do if the person you gave absolutely everything to murdered you? In his past life, Choi naively gave all his wealth, his family's resources, and basically his entire heart to make a poor student named Fu Yangzi a massive star in the entertainment industry. And how exactly did she repay him when she finally won Best Actress? She immediately married her childhood sweetheart, Zhuang Yifan, and together they orchestrated a plot to burn Choi alive. He died in absolute agony, both physically and spiritually. But what happens when you wake up from that fire, back in time, with all your memories completely intact?
Okay, let's dive into this. Here are our chapters of revenge. Chapter 1 is past life and horrific betrayal. Chapter 2, rebirth and immediate rejection. Chapter 3, exposing the arrogant hypocrisy. Chapter 4, the violent downfall. Chapter 5, rise of the true star. And finally, Chapter 6, the ultimate karmic retribution. Moving right into Chapter 1, past life and horrific betrayal.
Right away, there is a razor-sharp contrast between Choi's past and present. On one side, we have the naive, victimized past-life Choi, right? The guy who poured his entire family fortune into Fu Yangzi's career. On the other side, we have the awakened, reborn Choi. And he doesn't waste a single second. I mean, the very moment he realizes he's back, his absolute first move is to cut off her life support. He completely refuses to be a pawn in her game ever again and immediately starts laying the groundwork to evict her from his home. Next up, Chapter 2, Rebirth and Immediate Rejection. Now, here's the crazy twist. Fu Yangzi also reincarnated with her memories, but she foolishly assumes she can just use him again like nothing happened. Imagine the sheer audacity of this interaction. She literally tells him, "Keep away from me, don't find excuses to get close." The dramatic irony here is absolutely staggering. She arrogantly says this to Choi while literally sitting in his luxury personal car being driven by his driver. Her delusion is just boundless. She totally expects to enjoy his wealth while treating him like absolute dirt. So what does our reborn Choi do? He gives her a cold smile and literally orders her to get out of the car right then and there.
All right, Chapter 3, exposing the arrogant hypocrisy. So Fu Yangzi's arrogance starts bleeding into her public life, and her behavior becomes, frankly, incredibly reckless. She starts showing off her quote-unquote wealth to Zhuang Yifan's biker gang right outside Choi's luxury villa, acting like she literally owns the place. And then, when Choi's mother, the very woman charitably sponsoring her housing and education, mind you, gently suggests she focus on her studies, Fu Yangzi actually snaps back. "I can listen to advice, but you don't need to dictate how I live my life." The massive lack of self-awareness here is just baffling. This blatant disrespect is the final straw, prompting Choi to order her to pack her bags and move out to a rundown hostel.
And this brilliantly illustrates Choi's tactical genius. I mean, before she actually leaves, he sets the absolute perfect trap. Step 1, he fakes a stomachache so his parents go on a weekend resort trip without him. Step 2, he monitors the home network cameras from afar as Fu Yangzi sneaks Zhang Yifan's gang into the villa, and they start drinking his grandfather's prized wine. Step 3, he conveniently invites his own high society classmates over to his home gym to play games. And finally, Step 4, he leads them right up to the bedroom, busts down the door, and exposes Fu Yangzi and Zhuang Yifan red-handed in front of the entire school elite. She is utterly humiliated and officially ousted from the luxury life. Bringing us to Chapter 4, the violent downfall. Let's trace this rapid descent, because it happens fast. Day 1. Choi discovers that Fu Yangzi and Zhuang Yifan are squatting in a tent in an under-construction building. And he doesn't even lift a finger himself. He simply leads Fu Yangzi's estranged, abusive father right to them. Within minutes, the furious father attacks. In the ensuing violent struggle near the edge of the roof, Zhuang Yifan falls a terrifying 7 stories. Just like that. By the very next day, the former high school terror is left permanently paralyzed with severe internal injuries. The fallout is immediate. Zhuang Yifan's mother corners Fu Yangzi in the hospital and demands a massive compensation of 500,000 rupees. Or she forces Fu Yangzi into a miserable marriage with her now paralyzed son. To put that into perspective, 500,000 rupees is a staggering sum for someone who is now completely, utterly destitute. Desperate, Yangsi actually crawls back to Choi, begging him to pay the debt and promising to be his girlfriend, still somehow thinking he's secretly in love with her. Instead, Choi leans in with this cold, calculated tone and drops this exact line. "In the past life, you burned to death in that fire. Do you really expect me to help you now?" Wow, this is the chilling exact moment the color just drains from her face. She realizes Choi remembers everything. He remembers the murder. There's absolutely zero mercy coming her way. Which leads to Chapter 5, Rise of the True Star. Now let's see how Choi builds a totally new empire. He travels to a remote area to discover Shangxi, a genuinely innocent girl who was completely sidelined in the previous life due to industry nepotism. Backed by Choi's funding, she instantly impresses top directors like director Sinwai with her pure, untainted talent. When a jealous Yangsi tries to confront her, Shangxi easily shuts her down, exposing that Yangsi's past life success was entirely built on Choi's money, not actual talent. Shangxi goes on to earn direct admission to the National Academy of Theater.
20 million. Let that sink in. That is the massive number of followers Shangxi gains in just 2 short years. She claims all of it, the global fame, the massive movie deals, the adoration, everything that Yangsi arrogantly thought was her own unshakable destiny.
And finally, Chapter 6, The Ultimate Karmic Retribution. Imagine this truly pathetic scene. Fuyang Ruzi, now reduced to being a humiliated mistress of a terminally ill man, actually runs into the wildly successful Choi and Shangxi at a cafe. She has a completely unhinged public breakdown, screaming at the surrounding fans, "I am the queen of this industry, you are all garbage." And the crowd, completely disgusted by her behavior, physically beats her down. She is left there on the street entirely alone and totally reviled by the public. So the crucial point is this incredibly satisfying reversal of fortunes. Look at where they ended up. In their past lives, the villains won, and the innocent were sidelined or murdered. But in the current life, Choi uses his knowledge to basically course-correct reality itself. He's now wealthy, powerful, and happily engaged. Shangxi is a global superstar with 20 million followers. Meanwhile, the ungrateful Yangsi and her murderous accomplice Zhuang Yifan, they are left with absolutely nothing, impoverished and paralyzed. But guys, there is a darkly humorous detail that ties this all together perfectly. After falling deathly ill in poverty, a completely destitute Yangsi is placed in a rundown care center by the state. And the room she gets placed in, I kid you not, it's the exact same grim, filthy room housing the paralyzed Zhuang Yifan. The two conspirators who plotted to kill Choi for his wealth are now permanently trapped together in absolute squalor. It's the ultimate irony. The story ends on the most triumphant note possible. At the National Award ceremony, basking in the glow of all the media cameras, Shangxi shocks the nation by publicly proposing to Choi on live television. And as he stands there completely stunned, she pulls him close and whispers a promise to finish the conversation later that night at the Balenciaga showroom. It's a total, absolute victory for the people who actually deserved it. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. When given a second chance at life, does karma catch up with those who refuse to change? Yangsi had a second chance, but her ungratefulness and arrogance sealed her horrific fate, while Choi's calculated boundaries built him an empire. Thanks so much for diving into this incredibly satisfying tale of karmic retribution with me. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.